Okay, hello, hello. This is Miss Laura Haykel, and I'm so excited that you've joined me today. One second. Okay, great. I'm so excited that you've joined me today for the Crack the Code to keeping your pipeline filled and attracting new clients with an easy to learn new business development system that I've created over the last 8 years of doing this work for small companies nationally. So we're just gonna give it a couple of minutes here. I wanna make sure that everybody who plans to be on today has time to get on this call. So we will just hang out for a minute or two. Okay, great. So we are going to go ahead and get started with this. This is so exciting because this is actually my first webinar. So I'm really excited to share this with you. This is something that can be applied to many different businesses, and this system can really help you to just stay on task, organized, and focused whenever you have to reach out to new potential clients, follow up with them, and by pitching and winning new business. So this is a system that will absolutely help you to do that easily and gracefully, and also to have some fun in the process. So let's get started here. Okay, so just a little bit about me. My name is Laura Aiisha Haykel, and I am a creative entrepreneur. I am doing a handful of different things right now, but the work that I've been doing, really focusing on doing over the last 8 years, is new business development. So I have been supporting small companies nationally to connect with their ideal clientele so that they have opportunities to pitch and win new business. It's a great service for small companies, mid-sized companies, and it's been phenomenal to be a system for my clients' businesses. So I officially started Flourish Consulting 3 years ago, and I've been helping companies over the last 8 years with this work. So, so we're just gonna dive right in here. Cold calling. Cold calling can make many people cringe. I know for myself that cold calling it's been a process for me to get over all of the different things that come up for me when I think about cold calling or start to get on the phone and cold call, whether it's on behalf of my own business where I'm seeking new clients, or when it's on behalf of one of my clients' businesses. And the first couple of years, there was a lot of just rejection, a lot of things coming up around rejection when people would say no. Every so often, someone hangs up the phone abruptly on you. And then I started to reach this point where I began to see the no's as an opportunity for more yeses. So the more people who just are straight up with their no, it leaves room for the next person to say yes. And then also a no can lead to an opportunity for a deeper conversation. So always being aware of just intuitively or energetically feeling into someone's no, and having a sense of whether you want to try to dig a little bit deeper or if you just want to let it go. So cold calling is something that can really keep us living on our edge. It's something that can help us just build muscles, and just really start to step more forward, claiming our worth, owning our own business and what value we know that it brings to our potential clients and customers, and then just going for it. So really, I want to look at an opportunity as opposed to something that you absolutely dread doing. What I recommend clients, especially if I'm doing any one-on-one coaching with a client who is interested in learning more about the new business development process and how to connect in with their ideal clients, I usually recommend to start the business day, or before you start doing your cold calling, to just start by setting an intention for the process, or start by just connecting in with your breath. It's something that can just help us to ground into the energy of the day, ground into our intention to attract our ideal clients to us more easily, more gracefully. And it creates space for magic and more synchronicity, because we know that this is all about timing. And when you're either at a conference or a trade show, or you're on the phone making phone calls, it's divine timing that allows us to connect with people when they're in their office, when they may have a moment and the phone rings and they pick it up, even though they generally don't pick up their phone. So just giving ourselves a couple of minutes each day to just take a moment, connect in with our breath, and set an intention for that day. Another thing that's important to notice when we're doing new business development and we need to attract more business, more clients into our business, sometimes we can be coming from more of a fear and scarcity place, or, oh my gosh, I need to get more clients. Things are tight this month. How is this all going to happen? So there's a difference in our energy. There's a difference in our energy when we're coming from fear or from confidence. So just noticing, where is my energy today? Am I coming more from a fear-based place, or am I coming more from a confidence place? And just recognizing where you're coming from. And if you're in that more of that fear place, then this sitting and this breathing is going to help you to just align with the energy of your intention around your business and around attracting your ideal clientele. Oops, hang on one second for me. Okay, so again, before you start your new business development, just take a couple of breaths, notice your breath, notice where you're coming from, and then choose to move forward confidently, knowing that you absolutely the most ideal clients into your business from this really good grounded place within your body. So one of the most important things to be doing as a business owner, especially when you are doing a lot of business to business, is to constantly be looking out for companies that you would like to do business with. So identifying opportunities, whether you're reading the newspaper every day, the business journals, trade magazines, perhaps you follow blogs and online journals, and you might see something come up, an article come up that is talking about a company that you specifically want to do business with, and they're actually having an issue that you could solve. So that is a prime opportunity to connect in with that company and reach out and find out which is the right department, who is the right contact, and then see about connecting with them to share more about how you could be of service. So what we do here is to just always be open to identifying new opportunities, new companies that you could reach out to, and also continually identifying and fine-tuning and honing in on who your ideal client is. What characteristics does your ideal client have? And then where can you try and find of those clients that you can add to your lead list so that you're continually building a healthy, fresh lead list of new prospects. Another great way to connect locally with new clients or new potential clients is to attend different networking events. You could also join different groups locally or meetups. There are so many people out there who have different meetups and groups going on. You may even have an opportunity to present to a group on your area of expertise. And that is a phenomenal way to get in front of several potential new clients and show them that you've really got skills in this area. This is an area where you excel and exceed at, and that your business truly has the opportunity to bring tremendous value to your clients. Another opportunity could be to start a group, start a meetup, and then develop relationships with potential clients that way as well. So I'm just encouraging you to continually build out your lead list. Many businesses aren't working with lead. I'll ask potential clients or current clients, do you have a current lead list that you're continually adding business names to that you would like to connect with? And many of them say no. So that is something that I encourage all of us to be doing on an ongoing basis. You can do this by creating a simple Excel spreadsheet and what you want to do is include columns for, what I like to do is a first date of contact column, and then a status column, and then you'll go into business name, industry, and then the key contact info, your direct contacts, first name, last name, and then all of their contact information, phone numbers, emails, the website for the company. And then you always want to have a column for notes from the call that you can continually update. Clear, defined notes about everything that's happened every time that you've had any email, in-person, or phone communication with a prospect is going to absolutely serve you, because you can go back in that log and you can look back and double check things. The prospect may have mentioned something that could be really essential in helping to close a deal. So take good note. You connect in with your prospects. And then this screen is just simply showing you a snapshot of a spreadsheet template that I use. Again, you've got the first date of contact column, the status, and the status column is just where you would put whether you have a meeting or if they're a no-go. And I usually like to highlight those in different colors. So green, I'll bold, and green is for meetings and interested parties, and then red is no-go. And then I'll put, if someone wants future follow-up, so they've asked me to follow up in 3 months, then I'll put that in the status column with the date that I expect to follow up, and I'll bold that in purple. So those colors are, for me, I know exactly what those colors mean. And it's just a great way to help keep you. So again, I encourage you to add some dream clients to your list. if you find a company or you know of companies that you would love to do business with, you think it would be so cool to have them as a client, but you might have this little voice inside saying, "Oh, you're too small. They'll not, they'll never hire me. I don't have enough experience," or whatever that little voice inside might be saying. I say go for it anyways. Put at least 10 dream clients or leap clients on your list. You never know what opportunities exist. And I absolutely have gotten in touch with clients that I thought, that maybe I wasn't in a place where they would hire me, and they hired me, and we ended up doing amazing work together. So definitely stretch here, put some dream clients on your list. So once and you've got at least, I'd say you want at least 10 to 20 leads to just kind of get started. And I recommend of 30 to 50 leads, but you could absolutely start the calling process, the outreach process with 10 to 20 leads just to kind of get warmed up. And then kind of simultaneously, you also want to be thinking about marketing materials. So I do pretty much all of my outreach is done digitally. I rarely, if ever, send any printed materials on behalf of my company or one of my clients' companies anymore. So basically what you're going to want to get together is you're going to want some type of a company overview in a PDF format. And keeping the initial overview very simple, 1 to 2 pages, highlights about your company, who you are, and typically you're reaching out to. If you're a visual business and you're doing video and photography, or graphic design, or if you're, reaching out to stores or distributors or wholesalers with a jewelry line or a clothing line, definitely have some nice professionally done images within this PDF. And then you can also include links in there, hyperlinks that will take them to specific web pages and that type of thing. So in addition to this marketing piece, you're also going to want to create a short script for your calls. Now, I know my business found is that sometimes when I get on the phone and I'm starting to make these calls, I get a little bit, there's some adrenaline pumping and I might get a little bit nervous. And I have found that it is extremely helpful, especially when you're just kind of getting into this process, to have a script in front of you. So having a simple script that really, with some bullet points that really outline and clarify why you're calling this prospect, what your company can do for them, and then also including a couple of questions that will help to pique interest with the prospect. Sometimes you only get 20 seconds, 10 seconds to make an impression and get just a little bit more of their time. So sometimes just having a powerful question ready, at the ready to ask this prospect that could potentially open them up a little bit and pique their interest is very important. So highly recommend that you include some of those powerful questions in your script. And this script is just for you. This isn't anything that you're sharing or emailing. It's just for you to have on your computer screen or printed out in front of you as you're making these calls. And then in addition to the PDF marketing materials and the script, you also want to craft 1 to 2 email templates for prospecting. You may need a couple of different versions depending on you're reaching about. So having an email template that you can just customize per prospect that you're emailing is extremely helpful and valuable, and it will absolutely save you a ton of time. You can just copy and paste it, and then you have to remember where to update it. So in all of my email templates, I like to mention the company that I'm reaching out to at least once or twice. So you want to make sure that you update that every single time that you're sending to a new prospect. So customer relationship management is a huge part of this outreach and new business development process. Creating a process that will help you stay organized is absolutely essential. It will help you stay on task. It will help you remember past conversations. It will help you remember when to follow up. And those are all very, very important things that you want to have as a part of this process. So if you're working with a new, if your business is new or you're working with a new business and there's not a budget to pay a monthly or annual fee for a paid CRM system online, something like Salesforce, Biz Manager, Infusionsoft, Highrise, etc., then you can absolutely start with Google. Google Apps for Business is something that I use on and off depending on which client I'm working with. And it's a great tool. You can absolutely use it to get started with this process and to just kind of get into a flow with your new business development process. So basically what this looks like for me is I keep client documents, the marketing materials, the spreadsheets in specific client folders within my Google Drive. Then I'll create different calendars unless I have a Google Apps email for a client, then I'll just do it within that email address. But within my own business email address, I will keep different calendars based on the client or project that I'm working on. So basically what you want to do is you go over to that spreadsheet that you've started to create your lead list and you copy and paste the first lead. Then you go back to your Google Calendar and you open up a new event. For the name of that event, you put the company name, unless you have a prospect's name, then you can put Sally Joe at Infusionsoft. Then in the description, you're going to copy and paste all of the details, all of the contact details for that company and that person. This is going to be, this will become your individualized file that you'll use when calling this specific prospect. So basically what you can do is organize that information however it makes sense for you in the description. I like to put all of the company's basic information at the top of that field, and then underneath that, I will put the different prospects that I'm actually reaching out to. So I have business name, address, their main phone number, and a website. And then a couple of spaces below that, I'll start with the names and titles of the people that I believe I'm supposed to be connecting with. And it's kind of a game trying to figure out like who is the best contact, who's the best person at the company that I want to connect in. And this part of the process can be really fun, and it can also feel so amazing when you lock in with the right contact and somehow you found them on LinkedIn or by Googling or on data.com. And when you connect in with the right contact and they say, yes, okay, we'll give you a meeting, that feeling is so incredible. Like it'll light your whole being up. So basically when you're in the Google Calendar and you've got Sally Joe's calendar event open and you've put that the business information in there, and then underneath that you've got Sally Joe's name, her title, maybe by now you've gotten her direct line or extension, and then her email address. And then underneath that, you want to start with the first date of contact. So 10/16/14, spoke with Sally Joe, found out that she's not the right contact. She's actually referred me to XYZ, and asked me to send this person an email. She said it's okay to mention her name as a referral source. So just keeping all of those details, and then every time that you're reaching out to that company, you're going to put date and then exactly what happened. Emailed so-and-so with company overview, left message to follow up of email, and just, keep putting that information there, because then every time you open up that specific prospect's calendar event, you'll know exactly when the last date of contact was and exactly what happened. And then also, when you're reaching out, well, we're going to go into this right now. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but so we're all extremely busy. We've all got so many different sources of communication coming at us all the time: email, social media, and then for people who work within bigger companies, they've got all sorts of internal communications coming to them all the time. So it's so important to be prepared and really value and honor and respect the time that a prospect is giving you over the phone. So you want to start immediately by introducing yourself. Hello, this is Laura from Flourish Consulting. And ask the person, if you kind of sense a little hesitation, you can ask them, would you have 60 seconds? I could tell you why I'm calling. I just want to make sure that, you're the right person to talk to. And I would tell you 9.5 times out of 10, they're going to say, okay. And they might say, okay, with a sigh, or, maybe they're in the middle of something, but 9.5 out of 10 times, they're going to say, okay. And that gives you the opening. So you want to make the most of it, because you literally might only have 60 seconds of their time. So first of all, you want to just hone in, make sure that they are the right point of contact. And you should be able to discover this pretty quickly by the way that you have written your script and the way that you're delivering the value of your business and what you do and how you can support their company. So what I've found is that if they're not the right contact, one of a couple of different things will happen. They'll either ask for your contact information so that they could send that off to somebody within the company. Whenever this occurs, I do my best to get their email address and say, why don't I email you with our company overview, and then you'll have all of my contact information and you can just forward that on. So that allows a couple of different things. First of all, you've got their email address and you can see how their email looks. So whether it's first name dot last name at company name, or whether it's first initial last name at company name. And that can be important as you're discovering who to reach out to in that company. Because if for some reason you lose contact with that initial point of contact, you can always try to email the person that you think you need to connect with by just, looking at the way that their email is and inputting the right name. So that's one way that I'll go about responding to that. If they say, no, I'd prefer not to give you my email, then of course you just need to, give them your contact information and trust that they'll send that off and follow up. Now, what I will do when that happens is I will schedule that calendar event for maybe 3 to 5 later. And if I don't hear from anyone else in that company, then I will call that initial point of contact again, and I will ask them if they had a chance to send off my information and or if they'd be willing to just direct that I could follow up with them directly. So another thing that may occur when you're calling on a prospect is that you might get an assistant on the phone. So when you get an assistant on the phone, this could be in your favor or not so much. So a lot of this process is about bringing your good energy, bringing your personality, just being authentically you in this conversation, because the person can't see you. They don't know why you're calling. They're not expecting your call. So just being like gracious and open and bringing just a little personal touch to the tone of your voice and to the tone of your conversation can absolutely work wonders in having assistance and or direct point of contact in that company being open to either giving you a meeting or pointing you in the right direction. So when you get the assistant on the phone, tell her why you're calling, what your company does, that you're trying to connect with the right person at the company who would manage XYZ. More often than not, the assistant is going to give you an opportunity to either send her information via email about your company or be willing to direct you to a next point of contact if her direct report isn't the right person. So so that's a great opportunity to just, again, either get the email the assistant or ask her, well, if your boss isn't the right point of contact, do you know anyone else in the company who, or any other departments that I could reach out to? And then just take a breath and allow her to respond. What I've noticed in the calling process, sometimes I just get the sense that it's not a good time. So I can tell by the tone of their voice, by the way that they're breathing, and I can even just feel it energetically or intuitively. So whenever I sense that it's not the best time to call, I'll say, it sounds like you're in the middle of something. Would it be better if I called you later this afternoon or tomorrow? And many times they'll say, yes, that would be great. I'm right in the middle of a meeting. I have 3 people in my office. And then at that time, you can ask them 2 things. You could say, okay, great. I will call you tomorrow at 1. What is your direct line or your direct extension? And many times they'll give it to you. Or you could say, why don't I send you an email in advance of the call so that you have a little more information, and then just see if they'll quickly give you their email address. So gathering the contact information is extremely valuable because it can serve you moving forward if you're trying to reach out to other people within that company. So, so again, whoops. So again, just continually asking questions, using the time that you have wisely with them over the phone, being direct, cutting to the chase, and really honoring and respecting their time will get you a long way in this process. And then what is imperative is that you ask for the meeting. When you have, it's not always going to be very clear, and it might the opportunity may present itself very quickly, but always pay attention to that moment when you could just guide them into scheduling a formal meeting with you or your boss or whoever you might be calling on behalf of, and just ask for that meeting. Would you have 30 minutes where I could bring you on the phone with my partner or, you know, company to discuss XYZ? And then just breathe and allow them to respond. And I ask all the time, please give me 2 to 3 different days and times that will work for you. And so always ask for the meeting. Don't be afraid to ask for the meeting, because I'm telling you, it will serve you in phenomenal ways by just being courageous and asking for that meeting. So paying attention to the little things can really help you stand out from a crowd. Many of the companies that I'm calling on and the prospects that I'm calling on for my clients, they are inundated with calls from people like me. So you've got to just define and clarify, how can you stand out from the crowd? One of the ways that I stand out from the crowd is just by bringing my personality to the call, by being conscientious and just authentically who I am. And then also just really time. I personally am not, I'm not a pushy salesperson. I really like to kind of suss into the energy of the conversation and the person that I'm talking to, and I dance with that a little bit, and then I figure out what's the best way to move forward. I never particularly like to push someone into a conversation when they're saying, I really don't have time right now. I choose more to honor and respect what they're telling me, to hear them, and then to ask them for a better time to follow up. That has served me tremendously in this process. So standing out from the crowd, the networking and cold calling are intuitive processes. Just pay attention to your own inner wise self or your own internal guidance when you're on the phone or when you're at a networking event. And just know that by showing up and by trusting your inner guidance, you're going to meet and connect with exactly who you need to connect with. Another important thing is building rapport with your prospects. So getting to know them a little bit. They might say, oh, actually, I'm going to be going on vacation for the next 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. And you may just ask, oh, where are you going? And they could say, oh, we're going to Italy. It's our first trip to Italy. And so make a little note of that. And then the next time you call or email them a trip added. And that's just a nice way to make things just a little more personal and continue building the rapport with your prospects. And again, I cannot stress this enough. Be flexible and work within your prospects' availability as much as you possibly can, because the reality is you are asking them to create space in their business and hopefully be hired by your prospect. So being flexible and honoring your prospect's time will serve you and go a long way. Following up is one of the most important parts of this process. I cannot tell you how many meetings I've gotten with director to C-level executives at Fortune 500 companies because I followed up consistently, but not annoyingly persistent. You know, so I'm persistent, but not annoyingly persistent. So one of the main things is to absolutely make sure that you're following up when you say you will. When a prospect asks you to email more information or asks for a return email or call, make sure that you send that and you call when you said that you would or the prospect asked you to. And then you can always ask a prospect more information via email, because that could be a way that they're kind of trying to stall the conversation and avoid getting into too much with you at that moment in time, because they are probably getting lots of calls from people like you who are trying to sell them something. So they may say, you know, send me some more information via email. What I like to do is ask them to please respond to confirm receipt. And usually they say, okay, sure, no problem. Well, if they're not to confirm receipt, then you can always call them in a couple of days just to check in. Hey, Joe, it's Laura from iFlourish Consulting. We spoke a couple of days ago and you asked me to send you some information via email, but I never got a confirmation from you. So I just want to make sure that you received that email. And that can be another opportunity to stay top of mind with your prospects, to get in front of them again, to get them on the phone and ask for a meeting. So just be mindful of utilizing those opportunities and really taking advantage of opportunities to call them again or reconnect. And then another part of the follow-up process is just knowing when it's time of a particular prospect. I have got to say that for me, sometimes I pick up the phone and the first time I call a company, boom, I get a meeting. Other companies I've called over the course of many, many months. And then finally, for whatever reason, I get the person on the phone, they recognize my voice from voicemails, or they've seen an email or two that I've sent to them, and they're a little bit warmed up and they're a little bit open. And some people are actually quite impressed that I've stayed with them consistently, but not annoyingly persistent. Just kind of keeping in touch. You know, they might hear from me weeks via voicemail or an email, and then boom, I get them on the phone, the timing's right, and I get that meeting. But then you may also just feel like, you know what, this company's been on my list for 3 months. I haven't gotten anywhere with them. I'm just gonna let it go. So don't be afraid to let go of leads that really aren't turning into anything. Another important part of following up is to make sure that you send email thank you or a handwritten thank you, especially when a prospect gives you a meeting, whether it's a phone meeting or an in-person meeting. I always recommend following up with a thank you note, because it just shows that you care. It's just that extra little thing that will set you apart from all of the people who notes. And I just think that it adds value to show that you really honor the fact that they took the time to meet with you, so that you could share more about your business and learn more about theirs. Okay, so we'll just review getting a new business development process. So first of all, gaining clarity on who your ideal clients are is very, very important. So that gives you a framework and focus for where to find potential leads and how to build out your lead list. So creating a solid initial lead list that includes at least, I said in the beginning, 10 to 20 leads just to get started, but you really want to build up that lead list to at least 30 to 50 prospects, including at least 10 dream clients that might be a stretch for you. Schedule at least 2 to 5 hours a week to make calls. This is very, very important, because if you're not scheduling time in your calendar to actually work on new business development and filling your pipeline, then it's probably going to bottom of your, and you may find yourself getting busy and filling your days with busy work and client work, but you're never making time to reach out to new potential clients, so that when your current client work is done, you have other warm to hot leads waiting in the pipeline to be closed and turned into new business. Diligently follow up with prospects via email and phone calls. I personally don't recommend leaving several voicemails or sending several emails a week. It's just not how I do my thing. I know some people do it that way, but for me, it's not how I operate. I like to leave maybe one voicemail and send one email in a week, but I may try to call that prospect 3 or 4 times during that week. I'm just not always leaving a voicemail. I will try to call at different times of the day because certain people are available very early. I've found that higher level executives tend to be available after 5. So you may want to even schedule from 5 to 6, at least one day a week, to try to contact people that you've had trouble connecting with. And usually their admin has gone home, and many times they will answer the phone. I actually had a client that I've been working with on and off for the last 8 years. And this exact thing happened to me. I was able to get her in touch with the key counsel who was leading, they were rewriting all of their credit card agreements at American Express because the Dodd bill was just passed in Congress, and they were asking for credit card agreements to be rewritten in plain English. So I was actually able to connect directly in with the lead counsel on this project, get my client a meeting. 2 meetings later, she had a multiple 6-figure contract. So I highly recommend either trying here in the morning or later after hours between 5 and 6 or 6:30. And I mean, the whole point of this conversation, the whole point of this webinar is to help you to create a system, a simple system that will help you stay organized. That is the key to having a successful business, a business that has to flourish and grow, is to have these systems and structures in place so that, boom, you create the system and then you just work with it. And it's there. It's a container that's really helping you to continue growing and evolving your business. The main point here is that cold calling, networking, connecting, relationship building, all of this can be a fun, exciting, and triumphant adventure. I don't know about you, but I know when I connect with a prospect and I get that meeting, and then that client, that prospect turns into a client, there's no feeling like that. It's such an amazing feeling. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do. And I invite you all to embrace this process. Allow yourself to build the muscles that are going to help you feel more confident and more strong and more secure in this. So here's my contact information. Laura Aiisha Haykel. You can reach me at laura.haykel@iflourishconsulting.com. And my phone number is 212-518-6272. My website is iflourishconsulting. I'll read a little bit more about the work that I do and some testimonials from clients, and just see a little bit more about the different areas where I help businesses in connecting directly with their ideal clientele so that they can pitch and win new business. So what I'd love to do now is just open this up for some Q&A. Let's see. So I'd love to invite anyone who's live on the line to ask any questions, and there should be a Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. So you can feel free to type in any questions there, and I will be more than happy to answer those for you. And while we're waiting here just to see if anybody has questions, one thing that I wanted to mention with regards to building out your lead list and searching for prospects online, some of the tools that I use that have been extremely helpful in finding at least an initial point of entry into the company, and then definitely the lead counsel at American Express, who I was able to connect one of my clients with, I found him by doing a Google search. And I will just try any number of different combinations of words. I think I was searching for legal counsel, American Express, Dodd bill. And you know, looking through Google, looking through any press releases. There are all sorts of creative ways to find contacts and contact information for prospects within a company. So again, you can really have fun with this process and allow it to be adventurous and exciting, and be the detective, you know. Just do your best to kind of seek out who would be the right point of entry at this specific company. Another tool tool that I'm using is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an incredible tool for finding contacts within a company. And then also, if you have a premium account with LinkedIn, then you can send prospects directly. That's another way to introduce yourself and your company to a prospect if you have that paid premium LinkedIn account. Okay, let's see. Hi, David. Okay, we've got David Cameron on the line. Okay, so David is asking that where I said that sometimes a no can leave room for the next person to say yes. So there are two things here. I said two different things. So what used to really trip me up is that rejection piece. So when someone would, when I would call a prospect and they might just kind of cut me off and just say no immediately, you know, I would kind of like get into my script and my pitch, and they would just, you know, kind of dismiss it. And I would hang up the phone and I would notice that, you know, I'd feel like a little bit heavy about that. And I would take it personally when it wasn't personal at all. So as I moved through this process, and a lot of this happened very early on, maybe, you know, 7 or 8 years ago when I was just getting familiar with this particular process, you know, it would affect me. And as I kept calling more and I kept doing more research online and listening to some of the different sales gurus who are out there who do a ton of cold calling and prospecting via phone, is that every no leaves room for a yes. So if it's a no, let it go and then open up to the next call could be your yes. And in life, we just never know when the next yes is coming. So training my mind and training my heart to not take it so personally, but to give thanks for the no and then be open to receive the yeses. So that's the one aspect of that. And then sometimes when someone says no, it could actually lead to a yes with that person. So, you know, just kind of checking in. And I personally have been known to get hung up by, and this has happened very seldom in my process. I've in 8 years that I've been doing this. But if someone maybe hangs up on me or, you know, really dismisses me very quickly, and I'm kind of like in mid-sentence up and just thanking them for their time, I've been known to actually reach back out to that and just kind of level the playing field, human to human, you know, and I have got to say that I've gotten meetings that way. So choosing to be courageous and choosing to just say, hey, you know, human to human, you're doing your job and I'm doing my job, and they both add value. So have a need, that's okay. But being hung up on feels crappy. And, you know, I just wanted to reach out and just let you know that. And I've actually had people apologize, and then all of a sudden there's an opening and they're just saying, I'm super stressed. I've got 8,000 things on my desk right now, and I've received 10 calls like this today. So it's just a great opportunity to show that you care, to level the playing field, and who knows, you might get a yes out of that person. That person could become your next favorite client. Was that helpful, David? Okay, so we're nearing the 2 o'clock hour, and I would love to answer any other questions that you have before we wrap the call today. Okay. Well, I just want to thank all of you for being here on the line with me today. This is an area that I've been focusing on specifically for the last 8 years, but I've actually been doing phone sales since my early 20s. I didn't even know that I had sales skills, but I started by pursuing a in Reno, Nevada, who was putting out this very cool international reggae festival guide magazine. And I wanted to be involved in the music industry at that point. And so I decided to reach out to this publisher, and I emailed a month for a year. And she finally emailed me back and she said, people contact me for this job, but they never email me as consistently as you did over that long of a period of time. And then she said, have you ever done sales? I think I want to hire you for my sales team. And salespeople, and I didn't even know. I didn't know that phone sales was difficult. I didn't, it was just kind of something that I took to. And I've got to say, as a single mom, it has allowed me to work on my own, to work from home, to have a flexible schedule for my daughter, and to handle all of the different responsibilities that I have in my life. And I want to encourage and empower all of you to just keep stepping up, keep showing up, and keep building systems and structures for your business that will absolutely serve you and really become the container that will allow your business and your projects to continue flourishing and growing. This system can be used for so many different types of businesses. It can be used definitely for business to business. It can be used for business to consumer as well, products, services. Even if you are seeking funding, you could build a lead list of all the different funding sources that you've reached out to and make sure that you're continuing to follow up when you say you're going to, or if you haven't heard from someone, that you're just consistently following up. But remember, don't be annoyingly persistent unless that's your personality and you're bold and courageous enough to go for that. That's just not a way that I do my business. But, do your thing, bring your energy and your personality into it. And I know that you can do this. And if you're already doing this, I trust that I've been able to add some value to your process today. So again, Miss Laura Haykel, giving so much thanks for you spending your time with me today. And I definitely look forward to hearing more from you. So please make note, laura.haykel@iflourishconsulting.com. I would love to hear from you as questions come up after this webinar. So thank you again, many, many blessings, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Ciao. Bye.